Hi, my name is Dana Maxwell. I am a resident physician at Ohio State University Family Medicine Program. Special thank you to Lit Life Yoga Studio for allowing us to use the space to record these videos. This series is meant to be done at work, at home, when you're in the resident on-call room. So hopefully it's very accessible to you and you can use it throughout your day-to-day life. So this class in particular is going to be about 30 minutes. It should focus on a really gentle practice and some grounding to help you kind of recenter at whatever point you are in your day. So with that, let's get started in a comfortable seated position. Let your eyes close. And just start to settle into your space. Notice your breath. And really give yourself permission to let go of anything that happened earlier in the day, anything that might happen later on. Allowing yourself to be present during this practice. Start to lengthen your breath. Feel your rib cage expand as you inhale. And feel your belly soften as you exhale. And start to shift your awareness to your posture. Feel your sits bones rooting down into your mat. And from that foundation, feel your spine stacking tall all the way up to the crown of your head. Maybe grow an inch taller. Let your shoulders roll up towards your ears. Gently press them back and down, creating a nice long neck. And breathe into the space in your spine. Draw your palms together, rub them, creating a little bit of heat. And press your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, prayer position. And just take a moment to come up with an intention for your practice. So it can be as simple as I have health, I have happiness. Whatever it is, say it to yourself 3 times, slowly and with compassion. Lift your fingertips to your forehead, sealing that intention in. Slowly release your hands down to your thighs or your knees. You can keep your gaze soft, but gently open your eyes and start to draw circles with your torso. Inhaling your chest forward, exhale, rounding through your spine. And start to notice in these first few movements, which areas of your body move with ease, which areas might be holding on to a little extra tension. If you find a spot that's particularly tight, you can always pause, take an extra breath or so, and then continue moving through it. The next time you come forward, take a moment and then reverse the circle. Inhaling forward, exhale, really create a C shape with your spine as you round back. And slowly as you inhale, bring yourself up through center, lengthen, and start to draw circles now with the tip of your nose. Moving into your neck, a little bit into your upper back too. And the same thing applies here. If you find an area that's tight, you can always pause, give yourself a few extra moments, a little extra attention to those areas that might be holding on to your stress, and then continue moving. This is your practice, so do what works best for your body today. Next time your nose faces down towards the mat, pause and reverse the circle. And the next time your nose faces down towards the mat, bring your head back up through center. Reach your fingertips wide, stretching through your hands here, making a little jazz hands. Flip your palms up to face the ceiling. And as you inhale, scoop up as much space as you possibly can, lifting your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, flip your hands down, let your chin release to your chest. And then inhale, arms scoop up, reaching through your fingertips. Make sure your shoulders don't come up towards your ears. Keep them pressing down. Exhale, releasing fingertips down to mat, chin to chest. Begin to move at your own pace using your breath to guide you. Inhale, floats your arms up. Exhale to float them back down. 2 more just like that. And the next time your arms come up overhead, keep them there. Then let your left fingertips, I'll mirror you, come down towards the mat and let your right ear drop to your shoulder. Your right hand will come to the side of your head. You'll feel a deep stretch on the side of your neck here. To even go a little bit further, you can walk your left fingertips further away from your body. Feel free to close your eyes here, really sending your breath, sending your intention to open up the side of your neck. And if you want to try to move the stretch more towards the back of your neck, create a little tuck with your chin here. Notice if your right shoulder starts to creep up towards your ear, try to remind it to be relaxed. And on your next inhale, arms reach up overhead and you're going to switch sides. So this time your left ear will drop towards your shoulder. Right fingertips will come down toward the mat. You can walk them further away for a deeper stretch. Feel free to close your eyes. You might find that one side is tighter than the other. That's totally normal. And then to move that stretch more towards the back of your neck, create a little gentle tuck with your chin. And on your next inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, we're going to twist towards your left. Hands come to either side of your body. Inhale, float the arms up, coming through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Create a nice spiral with your spine here. So inhale to find length, reach tall. Exhale to spiral. Warming up the spine. Deep breaths to guide your movement. And the next time you come over to the left side, stay here. Hands come to either side of your body. To go a little bit deeper, you can take your right hand onto the outside of your left thigh. Just ease you a little bit further into that twist. Gaze can float back over your left shoulder. And notice in your twist, if your breath starts to become more shallow, really try to actively press it deep to your low belly. And on your next inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, spiral to the other side. Hand comes onto the outside of your right thigh this time. Gaze can float back over your right shoulder. Breath remains deep. On your inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, release your hands down. Moving into child's pose. You're gonna slowly just sit your hips back to your heels, arms reach up overhead. And child's pose is your checkpoint. Always feel free to come into this posture if you need to take a break. Let your forehead release down to the mat. You can rock a little bit from side to side. You might feel a nice release in your hips here or your low back. And look up between your hands. Again, create those jazz hands. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. Middle finger faces straight up towards the front of the mat. And as you inhale, come onto hands and knees, tabletop position. So your hands are your foundation here, underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. From here, we're gonna move into some cat and cow. So as you inhale, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, moving into your cow position. And as you exhale, squeeze the breath out, round through your spine, moving into cat. Inhale, scoop up, moving into your cow. Exhale, squeeze the breath out as you round into that cat position. And begin to move at your own pace, using your breath, working through your spine. This will be your last cat position. Come back to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes here. You're going to lift your hips up towards the ceiling, moving into downward facing dog. So essentially creating a triangle, just like there is one behind me with your body. But this might look different for each of you, depending on how tight your hamstrings are, your hips are, or your low back. So again, foundation with your fingers spread wide. Lift your hips up, and you can start with your knees bent here. Really aim to lengthen through your spine. Your tailbone is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then maybe if you're able to maintain that length in your spine, you can start to straighten your legs and let your heels float down towards the mat. Your ears are between your arms here with a gentle tuck of your chin. Breathing deeply, 3 breaths here. You might notice that you roll towards your little fingers here, really plant and root down through your thumbs as well. On your next inhale, look forward between your hands and slowly start to walk your feet up to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Coming into your first forward fold, again, a generous bend in your knees is completely allowed here. Really do what works for your body. So if your hamstrings are tight, you might need to modify with bent knees. Let your head release here and just sway a little bit from side to side. Try to feel the strength in your low body and let your upper body release. You can grasp either elbow. Come back through center, bend your knees even deeper. And as you inhale, roll up your spine, head comes up very last, moving slowly to avoid getting a head rush. And slowly roll your shoulders back and down, creating a nice long neck, arms float up overhead. Draw your hands through to your heart center, Anjali Mudra prayer position. Let your eyes close, take a moment to find your breath, find your balance, standing into Tadasana, mountain pose. Maybe go back to your intention. And slowly open your eyes, maybe through some sun salutations, building a little bit of heat. As you inhale, your arms are going to float up overhead. And as you exhale, bow forward, coming through a flat back position. You're going to inhale and lift your chest into flat back once again, pressing your hands into your shins or into your thighs. And as you exhale, release. We're going to slowly step your left foot back, coming into a runner's lunge. And just take a moment, shift forward and back here, really working to find alignment. So you want to make sure that your right knee is stacking on top of your right ankle. Most common thing that I see is people pushing their knee past their ankle, puts a lot of stress on your knee, puts a lot of strain on your Achilles tendon as well. So make sure you're creating a 90-degree angle with that front leg. Press back through your left heel to find length. Engage your back leg. From here, we're going to use our breath to help work into the stretch a little bit deeper. So as you inhale, let your hips float slightly. And as you exhale, ease into the lunge a little bit deeper. Inhale to find some length back out of the stretch a little bit, lifting those hips up. Exhale to go deeper. One more breath, just like that. And as you exhale, let your left knee come down to the mat, untuck your toes. And as you inhale, options here, you can stay where you are with your fingertips on the mat. Maybe bring your hands to your front thigh, lift your arms up overhead, or bring your hands back behind you, clasp your hands, roll your shoulders, and lift your chest. Your foundation here is your front foot, really rooting into the mat, as well as your left knee, the top of your foot. Work with that foundation. If you're in the back bend, send your breath again, nice and deep to your low belly. Don't let it become shallow in your chest. And on your next inhale, stack your spine, arms float up overhead. Exhale, plant your hands down, spread them nice and wide. Tuck your left toes, lift your knee. Now use your core to step back into a plank position. If you need to modify on your knees, please do so. Main thing to think about here is not sinking in your shoulders, but really pressing down into your hands here and pressing your belly button to your spine to create support for your low back. We'll take one deep breath here. And on your exhale, everyone drop your knees down, untuck your toes, elbows hug in towards the side of your body as you float yourself down to the mat. As you inhale, shoulders come up towards your ears, gently press back and down to lift your chest, coming into baby cobra. Press your pinky toes down into the mat. You can float your hands. A gentle tuck of your chin to create length in the back of your neck. Hands press down to the mat. Tuck your toes. You can come through down dog to press back up, or sorry, through child's pose to press back up into downward facing dog. Find your length, find your alignment here. You can always bend your knees. On your inhale, look forward between your hands. Gently walk your feet forward. Inhale, come into a flat back, press into your shins or your thighs. Exhale, bow forward. And each time you come into your forward fold, this time you can find different variations. So if you want to go deeper, you can hold on to your ankles. You can clasp either elbow behind your leg, or you can always go back to the first version that we did with bent knees, just hanging forward. On your inhale, roll up your spine, head comes up last, arms float up. Exhale, draw your hands through center. Right away, big bend in the knees, arms scoop up, create some space here, and exhale, bow forward. Inhale, float back up into a flat back, press into your shins or your thighs. Active legs here, quads lift. And as you exhale, release. And step this time your right foot back behind you. Try to find your alignment here. Again, notice that front knee. Is it pushing past? Is it behind? Stack the left knee on top of the left ankle. Make a 90-degree angle with that front leg. And then really press back through your right heel. Active and engaged. Using your breath here to work into the stretch. So inhale to float the hips up slightly. And exhale, ease into that stretch. Open, invite an opening in the front of the right hip. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Working into the stretch. On your exhale now, float your right knee down to the mat, untuck your toes. Options here, you can keep your fingertips on the mat. Maybe bring your hands up to your thigh, maybe up overhead. Lift in the front of your hips. Or gently reach your hands back behind you. If you reach your hands back behind you, I always challenge myself to reverse my clasp on one side. So if you naturally put your left thumb on top, reverse it, right thumb comes on top, might feel a bit awkward, and then roll your shoulders, lift your chest, breathing deep. Inhale, stack your spine, arms float up. Exhale, hands come down. Nice jazz hands, press your hands down to the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift your knee, step your left foot back to meet your right, coming into your plank. You can modify on your knees if you need to. Otherwise, again, belly button presses towards your spine to create that support for your low back. Make sure your arms are nice and strong and you're not sinking in your shoulders. One deep breath here. And as you exhale, release your knees down to the mat. Elbows hug in towards the side of your body as you slowly come down to the mat. Roll your shoulders back and down your spine. Lift your chest coming into baby cobra. You can float your hands off the mat. Again, create a gentle tuck of your chin to find that length in your back and back of your neck. And then hands press into the mat. Tuck your toes, sit back through child's pose to lift up into downward facing dog. Notice your hands, notice your fingers, really press into all 10 fingers here. Tailbone reaches up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, look forward between your hands, start to walk your feet forward. Inhale, flat back, press into your shins or your thighs. Exhale, bow forward. Again, inviting yourself to go a little bit deeper each time you come into the forward fold. Maybe clasping either elbow behind. You can stand on the palms of your feet, stand on the palms of your hands with your feet and really go deep into those hamstrings. Whichever version you're in, come out of it slowly by bending your knees, roll up your spine, head comes up last, arms float up, exhale, draw your hands through to your heart center. Take a moment, check in, and slowly make your way back down to a seated position. Coming into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So the soles of your feet come together and your knees press out. When I teach kids, I say that you can be a butterfly here and flap your wings. You can be any color that you like. If you'd like to imagine being a color, that's totally fine. And then press your thighs open and down into the mat, lift to the crown of your head. And we'll start by creating a long spine here, reaching your heart, your sternum about, let's say 2 to 3 feet in front of you as you bow forward. And then on your next exhale, round through your spine. Inhale, roll up. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Keep your right foot pressed into your left thigh, knees out to the side. Arms reach up overhead, find length. Exhale, start to bow forward over the left leg here. Toes pull back towards your face. This can be pretty intense in your hamstrings. So if you have tight hamstrings, you can always bend your knee and feel free to hold on to any part of your leg. If you're really tight, you can even grab a towel or shirt or belt and then put it around the sole of your foot to kind of create that extra space. You can always use your breath and your stretches. So you can use your inhale to back out of the pose and your exhale to go deeper, just like we did when we were in the lunge. Roll up your spine, switching sides, extend the right leg. Bring your left sole of your foot to your thigh. Sit up nice and tall, arms float up. Exhale, start to bow forward. One side, it might be much tighter than the other. You can bend your knee, modify as you need to. Each side does not have to look the same. Roll up your spine. This time bringing both legs out in front of you. You can even move the flesh away a little bit from your bottom to create a little bit of a tilt in your pelvis, which will help you with the forward fold. Flex those toes back towards you. Inhale, arms reach up. And as you exhale, start to reach your hands forward. You can hold on to your thighs, calves, your feet. This for me is one of my most challenging poses because my low back and my hamstrings are my tightest areas. So wherever you are, use your breath, close your eyes, and breathe through any resistance, any tension that comes up. In these challenging postures, I always go back to my intention and remind myself of it. Inhale, roll up. Plant your feet onto the mat, about hips distance apart, sit up nice and tall here. We're gonna work into the core just a little bit. The challenging part here is gonna be keeping all 10 toes on the mat, which might sound easy right now, but I can guarantee you, you will find that they will lift off at one point. So sit up nice and tall. Hands can come underneath your thighs here. And as you exhale, you're gonna start to roll through your spine, rounding chin to chest, rolling back, creating a C shape. Now notice your toes if they started to lift. Plant all 10 back down on the mat. As you inhale, sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, squeeze the breath out, just like we did when we were in our cat position. And as you inhale, come back up, sitting tall. Exhale, once again, notice your toes if they start to lift, round through your spine, squeeze the breath out. Inhale, sit up tall. This time, if you want, you can challenge yourself by reaching your arms out in front of you and then try to create just as deep of a C shape, but without the help of your thighs. So exhale, rounding through your spine. Again, notice your toes, plant them down on the mat. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, arms can reach up overhead. Exhale, squeeze the breath out, round through the spine. Toes press down. Inhale, lift up. And then last time, we're gonna roll all the way down onto the mat, but moving nice and slow. Really work through your spine here. Challenge yourself. And then come all the way down, hugging your knees into your chest, rocking a little bit from side to side. Give yourself a little massage against your mat. Cup your hands over your knees. You can make circles around to the right and around to the left. Coming into a spinal twist. Keep your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg long onto the mat. Arms come out to a T position and try to keep both shoulders planted onto the mat as you draw the right leg across your chest, coming into a spinal twist. You can look out over your right hand. Feel free to close your eyes here. As you exhale, come back through center and extend your right leg long, switching sides, hug the left knee into your chest. Arms come out to a T position, root your shoulders down into the floor, draw your left leg across your body, coming into a twist on the other side. Notice if your left shoulder started to lift, reminded to plant down onto the floor. You can look back out over your left hand. As you exhale, come back through center, hug both knees into your chest one last time. Give yourself a squeeze. You can hold on to the soles of your feet, curling up into a little ball. Tuck your chin to your chest, rounding your upper back, giving yourself an extra little stretch here. And as you exhale, release. Coming into Shavasana, final relaxation. Let your hands face up towards the ceiling. Eyes closed. Really give your weight into the mat, allowing yourself to feel held and supported here. Integrating all the benefits of the stretching, strengthening, and releasing. But most importantly, taking this time for yourself. Slowly draw your awareness back to your breath, back to your body. Making small movements, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can rotate your wrists and your ankles. And as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, stretching the full length of your body. You can let your mouth open up into a nice big yawn. And as you exhale, hug your knees into your chest. And roll over to your right side. Using your left hand, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, just as we did at the beginning of the practice. Draw your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra. And allow yourself to go back to the intention you set at the beginning of your practice. And say it to yourself one last time, carrying it with you throughout the rest of your day. Draw your hands to your forehead, kind thoughts, hands to your lips, kind words, hands to your heart, kind intentions. We close with namaste. Thank you.